Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Well, that was a good one. In the end, getting the 3 points, pulling the win out, all that matters. Very, 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 very happy with getting 3 points today. Moving 6 clear of Chelsea. If Spurs can pull off a miracle, yeah. If Spurs can pull off some sort of miracle, then against Liverpool, then even easier. But a huge game in the race for the top 5 here. Massive for us, like 6-pointer. We've got a couple more of these with Chelsea and with Liverpool moving forward. But that one was a big one. That was a massive one. We got the points. And look, we could talk about a few of the negatives because they were there. But for this season, for what we need, this was it. This was what we needed. 3 points. We certainly deserved the win. Make no mistake about it. Like we definitely deserved the win. We were not like the worst side. I don't think it was a good game overall, but we were not the worst side. We were not bad. We were kind of bad for a while. We were not worse than Villa. We deserved the 3 points. We got the 3 points. From the second goal, it was over. When we conceded to Villa, I'm not going to lie. Right at that moment, I'm thinking we're going to lose. They were all over us. They were running us down. They were attacking us. They'd made subs. They made changes. They were ahead of us. They were starting to really put the pressure on us. They were starting to hurt us. And then when then the game just evolved into chaos. And in that chaos, when Bruno finds Cunha through on there and Cunha finishes that, it was over from then on. It was over. It was over from then on. It really, really was. That being said, guys, Šeško should have fucking started. I 100% stand by this. And I'll say again, Šeško should have started. Šeško should have started. He can get more than 16 minutes, man. He can get more than 16 minutes in that game. He should have started. We hit so many cross. I tell you what was really funny, right? In the first half, we made 14 crosses, and we got on the end of one of them. Then we started the second half, and we hit 4 crosses in the first minute. In the first minute, we hit 4 crosses, and it's still pointlessly going to absolutely nobody. And I'm just like, man, like, please just put Šeško on the pitch because get our striker going. He's so good right now. He's so good right now. He's so good right now. Just get Šeško on the pitch. I just want to see the guy play. We were hitting such good crosses in the first half. When it's so funny because did we get crosses with Šeško on? No. When he comes on, the game was in a state of basketball by then, right? It was up and down. It was 1-1. It goes up and down and all of that. And so we don't end up being in a situation where we're going to make crosses once Šeško is on the pitch because it's a different game. Now, he's good enough. He's just finding goals because he's just good, man. He's just good. He's just finding goals. He's just finding the net. And it's like, this is what I'm talking about with what makes a great striker versus a bad striker. You know, what makes a good striker versus a bad striker? It's not service. It's never been service. All the stuff about with Højlund, like, you know, service, you know, wasn't getting the service, wasn't getting him the ball, all of that. He was just bad. Højlund's just a bad striker. He's just a bad striker. Šeško finds the ball. What he did there for the goal that he scored, he's in the box. It's a mess. The ball's flying over, jumps over Onana, turns around, fires it at the net. He's finding the ball week in and week out. It's not just waiting for service, but finding the ball, finding a way to get on it, and finding a way to score goals. And that's what makes a great striker for me. That's what makes a great striker for me, is a guy who can see that. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing for a moment, is that he's finding a goal. The jump over Onana and all of that was awesome. It was crazy. Really, really, really exciting goal. But we got to also give a big shout out to Cunha for getting that second goal in, and Bruno, of course, because Bruno, man, what the hell? But the second goal from Cunha on the pass from Bruno absolutely finished them off. Sent it through the lines. Perfect run by Cunha. And what you gotta love there in that situation is the composure from Cunha, right? Ball comes in to him in that situation. Sometimes, forwards overplay it. We saw Šeško do that a little bit later on the break. They overplay it. They get too close. They look for something clever. They try to cut it back. They try to do all of that. But instead, Cunha gets it on a run, just bam, turns, fires it into the net. Just right by the keeper. Doesn't have to be a rocket. Doesn't have to overhit it. Doesn't have to overdo it. Just a nice little curler beyond the keeper when the keeper's not ready for it. You don't let them get too close. You don't let them close it down. That's that experience that Cunha has as well. With Šeško's ability to jump, I can't wait for them to get volleys timed up for headers. That would be unstoppable. Yeah, agreed. If we can figure that out, that'll be great. 4 assists for Bruno to match the record, 5 to break it possible. I told you Bruno should remain up top. I disagree with you because most of Bruno's assists come from him dropping deep in the game and then finding it. I mean, even the assist to Cunha, he drops it. But look, he should be in a free role. Absolutely. He should be in a free role. That is Bruno's best position, is a free role. In that free role, he will be dropping deep. He was dropping deep a lot in this game to get on the ball because we were struggling to get it forward. He should be dropping deep. He absolutely should be, but it should be in a free role with players behind him to defend, to do a lot of the dirty work. The free role is the best for him. It's just Bruno should do what he wants. Whatever, man. Like I've said, in recent times, I haven't had any complaints about what Bruno's been doing. Dropping deep, coming to get the ball, coming to create, coming to do all of that. I'm fine with it because it's not being done by everybody else, right? I just want to give him the best tools from possible deep so that we can get him the ball easier so he doesn't have to do quite as much to try and get on the ball. Because he wasn't hurting us, but it was hurting us that we were struggling for quite a while to just get him there, to get the ball where we wanted to get him. Your hot take for next season: if we get 2 athletic beasts to play behind Bruno, a left back and a left winger, we can win the title next season. I mean, I think we can and should be aiming for competing for the title. No. You're right about this. He can't play free as a deep mid. He can't. I agree with that. I just think that it's, we just need to sign midfielders. It is what it is, we should be going for trying to compete for the title next year. That should be the aim. The thinking in the market should be to go for competing for a title. The thinking everywhere should be, because there's so much quality up front. Šeško looks like, to me, one of the best strikers in the league, if not the best right now, right? In terms of form. Is there a better striker than Šeško right now? Cunha, this is why I never want to drop Cunha. I think Cunha was really good today. I think Cunha is really important. I think he brings a level of something that matters a lot. And it's huge. Mbeumo and Ahmad are struggling a bit with where to play, how to play, what to play. But I will say this. I don't think Mbeumo was bad today. I saw Mbeumo get a lot of heat today. I don't think he was bad today. I just think he's not a 9. And it was not a good game state for him to be running down the middle in this game. I just think he's being asked to do in these games a job that doesn't suit him. I don't know what the answer is here, but I don't think Mbeumo was bad. I think Mbeumo was fine. I don't know what else he could do in the positions that he's in, playing against the kind of defending that he's playing against, these types of things. I don't think he's, like he was up against big defenders with a lot of crosses coming in. I just don't think it's his fault. I think Mbeumo did about as well as could be expected or could be wanted from him. You know what I mean? I don't know what else you can ask for in that sense. I really don't. He hardly does much in a wide. I mean, I disagree. I think that he's going through a bit of a dry patch at the moment, but I disagree. You know, against West Ham, he's putting the cross in that gets Šeško the goal. He had another good cross in from out wide, getting the goal. You know, I just think that you got to find some consistency for him to play in. Positivity, James, we're headed to Champions League. Indeed, indeed. Well, it looks good for that. The worry for a 26-27 title charge is poor squad depth. Well, if you sign enough starters, then I think the squad depth will be better, right? If you can bring on like, we have a rival fan. We have a rival fan. Look at that. If you can bring on, like, if you have two midfielders and Cobby becomes a depth or rotation, you know, if you have, you know, if those guys become rotation, if you get another center back, it's rotation. The reason you have multiple attacking threats, so when a player has a poor run, it isn't terminal, right? And I don't think that's a big deal. But it's the narratives that go around football is always so interesting in general. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's like people go 4 weeks ago, it might have been Cunha's crap. Cunha can't do anything. Cunha's poor. We don't play well with Cunha on. What does he actually offer? And then you look at Cunha on a week-to-week basis. He's doing good work, man. Cunha's doing really good work regularly every week now. Cunha's doing good work. And now it's Mbumo's the bad player, or it's Ahmad's the bad player. You know, it's like Ahmad has to start. Ahmad has to start. And then Ahmad starts and people go, Ahmad wasn't really good today. Let's get somebody else on. You know what I mean? But I think the truth is that we need to continue rotating players through and figuring it out. But we haven't quite got the balance right, but we will. I think eventually we will. We will get the balance right, and it'll work out in the end. JJ Gabriel can't play this season. He's too young. Next season, him being depth would be fantastic. Look how many goals we've scored this season. Yeah. I mean, look, you can't complain about it. You can't complain. I mean, let's just take a look at something here really quick. I wonder if does this have the updated numbers? How many did we score today? 3. So we've scored 54 goals this season. All of last season, we scored 44. We're 10 over with 7 games to go, or 8 games to go, rather. 10 more goals than last year with 8 games to go already. So, you know, give the forwards a bit of a break. This is where I'm saying, like, I don't know why we do so much focus on the forwards. Guys, it's not the forwards. It's not the forwards. The forwards have done their fucking job, man. The forwards have done their job. They're not going to be forwards are like this. They're going to have good games. They're going to have hot streaks. They're going to have tough games. They're going to have good games. They're going to have rough games. They're going to play well. Then they're going to play poor. Then they're going to do this. Then they're going to do that. They're going to go through scoring a lot of goals. They're going to go through dry spells. That's what forwards do. We should stop talking about the forwards so much because that's not the problem. The forwards are fine, you know, and I think that my only complaint there with Carrick is I think it's too much focus on the forwards. You know what I mean? About why we're winning or not winning games. Now, maybe that's because, now let me back up for a second. Let me back up for a second on that and maybe give him some credit. All right. Maybe Carrick's focus on the forwards is to say, I know our team's shit in other areas and isn't that good and we can't control the games that well. So I'm just going to keep moving the forwards around to find the hot spark that wins us the game. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe that's it. It's just saying we just keep doing it to find the spark to win us the games because we know we're not going to control the games. We know we're not going to, you know, dominate the games at this point. We know that we're not going to do these things. So let's just go for it and try to just swap them around until we win. But it's not the forwards, man. The forwards are doing a great job. We've got other issues to solve that we know about. We've got other issues to solve. We know that. We'll fix that in the summer. But it ain't the forwards. We spend so much time, I think, talking about the forwards. And it's funny because I watch the games and I see so many more criticisms of Cunha, Mbumo, Ahmad, and these guys than other areas of the pitch. And I'm just going, wait, hold on a second, guys. They're forwards. Like, I think we're so used to them having to bail us out of games that when they're even during games, when they're not bailing us out, we want to sit there and blame the forwards and say that that's the issues. It's not. It's not the issues. We gotta, give them a rest a little bit. Give them a rest. Give too much. We're trying to beat up on the forwards way too much. We're trying to beat up the forwards way too much, man. They're allowed to not always carry us to victory. They're not the issues right now. And when we're not controlling the games particularly well. This team is really just two solid midfielders and a fast center back to replace Maguire from challenging. I love Harry, but needs to be a backup next season. Yeah, I mean, look, Mike, like, I don't disagree with you there at all. I think that Harry has such good qualities, box defending. Rodgers was running at him one-on-one at one point, just completely takes him out of the game. But yeah, he's not fast. But let's talk about the center backs a little bit, because we've talked about Cunha doing great, Šeško's goal, Bruno, all of that. We got to talk about Lenny today. I've got big faith in Lenny Yoro, and today showed me why. We cannot drop Lenny Yoro. We do not win this game without Lenny Yoro. You look at those first 50 to 55 minutes, every break, every long ball, Lenny's chasing it down, making tackles, running them off of it, last man tackles, headers. He was so good today, So, yeah, Lissandro comes back. It doesn't matter. Don't change it. Lenny is saving our skin right now, and it's not the first time. He's had some ups and downs, but it's not the first time. His pace, his legs, his running, his ability, his instincts in games when teams are trying to hit us behind today, like Villa were. They were sending those balls into the channel in that first half over and over and over again. And Lenny was there every time to clean it up. Lenny was there every time to take him down. And he's 20 years old. I've got big faith in Lenny Yoro. I've got high hopes for Lenny Yoro. I've never given up on him. Not at all. And I think that the matchup here between Lenny and Maguire is actually a really nice balance, to figure things out. I think it's working. And, if Maguire stays, that makes a decent partnership. I hope he stays. But I also hope that we add somebody else, because a partner for Lenny long-term is what we need. We need a partner for Lenny. We need that. I honestly would give Lenny the man of the match, because I know Bruno in the end pulls out the great assists and wins the game in the end for us. We're not in that game without Lenny Yoro. Seriously, we're not. And he really helped, kept us in it, and kept Villa away from our goal for those first 50 minutes. He was so good in that respect. So for me, Lenny was the man of the match. I don't know about you guys. Well, give me your thoughts. Who do you guys see as the man of the match right now? Because for me, I think the argument you would have is Bruno or Lenny, and I'm still giving it to Lenny, because I think over the course of the game, he was more important. I think he was really good. I think that, again, it's not to take anything away from Bruno, because it's the magic that he creates that wins us matches. But Lenny, to me, like, again, it's hard for defenders to win, to be the best player on the pitch. But I think he was. I think for the majority of the game, Lenny Yoro kept us in it and was doing great. His box defending was good. Everything he was doing was good, But Bruno, look, I obviously creativity matters, and Bruno was good today. Not just the assists, but good, he was good in all aspects today. So that's fair as well, But I like to give credit to. I like to when guys like Lenny win the man of the match, because it's hard for defenders to do it in a game where somebody else is creating goals. But that doesn't mean they don't deserve it. They don't get enough accolades when they do well. So that's what that's why I would give it to him. You know what I mean? There were a lot of positive things to take away from today's game. A lot of positive things to take. Huge positives to take. I'm very happy with the result and the outcome. The first 60 minutes or so, we could go look at the numbers just a little bit here, right? the first 60 minutes or so, I thought player of the match, Ross Barkley by SofaScore. That should tell you everything about ratings, right? The first half was really, really mediocre in general. 0 big chances, basically nothing created for either side. This is what was bothering me. 14 crosses. 14 crosses, in here. 14, and we got one. And we got one on target, before Šeško comes on. And then if you look at the second half, which, I mean, technically they had 3 big chances. The game kind of opened up and all that. We went down to 7. And 4 of those were in the first minute of the half. I think we made 1 cross while Šeško was on the pitch. It does crack me up. It is really, really funny in that respect. With Lenny 1-0 win to Villa, with Bruno 2-1 win to United, not taking anything away from. I mean, I think both of those are fair. But yeah, look, I mean, statistically, it was a fairly even game. I do think, though, that being said, contextually, when looking at it, we had the better chances of the game for sure. I think that Villa had a fair bit of XG come in a single-year sequence. I don't think we created enough in this game. I don't think we had a clear, we had the Ahmad header was probably our best chance in the first half, I would say. Second half, we get the Casemiro corner until the Cunha goal. That was pretty much it. We did not have a lot of clear-cut chances, but we still had the better chances to win. Dalot had 2 one-on-ones, but I don't know. I don't think that creating one-on-ones for Dalot is like a good teamwork. I'll be honest. Like, we could talk about Dalot not as a negative, but just like I said this a couple weeks ago. There's constantly a big push for this thing about how Dalot is actually one of the best fullbacks in the world. You cannot be a great player when you are that inept offensively. Under Ten Hag, Dalot is getting into amazing positions and firing it into the crowd. Under Amorim, Dalot's getting into amazing positions and firing it into the crowd. Under Carrick, Dalot's getting into amazing positions and firing it into the crowd. We need a new right back. It's such a black hole offensively, because it's like it shows you the potential that's there with the team that is being let down purely by the quality of the individual. That's it. We need a better fullback. If we got a better player in that position, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. We need a new right back. We need it badly. I would argue we need it. I don't know, man. If we can hopefully see Dorgu come in at left back, if we could see Dorgu come in at left back, and if he does good work, then I would argue certainly I would take a right back over a left back, because here's what we don't know if Dorgu is going to be a good enough left back. I don't know. We do know that we don't have a good enough attacking right back. We do know it. It's just the facts of the matter. We do know it. Defensively, he was pretty mediocre today too, to be quite honest. Why isn't Mazraoui did play last time? He doesn't really offer that much going forward either, to be honest. But I want to focus on these two again as a positive, just looking at the numbers on it, because look at them defensively. Look at the duels. Harry, perfect in the air, good on the ground, 11 contributions, 3 interceptions, 5 clearances, 2 recoveries, 2 tackles. I mean, look at Lenny, 11 defensive contributions. Look at him go right here, man. He was awesome today. I want to focus on the progressions too. The progressions were actually quite good from both of them. You can argue sometimes they slow things down a little bit, but I thought that both Lenny and Maguire did a really good job helping us move the ball up the pitch. You look at the carries as well. There were some really important carries, 280 carries, progressive carries. They both did very, very well with the ball today, in my opinion. I think they were great. In the midfield, I still don't. I think Kobbie was actually much better today. than in recent games. I think Kobe was much better today. Casemiro was, for me, still quite poor out of possession. I know he gets the goal, and I know that there's a narrative running. I think Casemiro was really, really poor out of possession, getting bypassed a lot. I thought Kobe was a lot better today, like a lot better today. In general, it was his best game since the Arsenal game. I thought he performed quite well. Defensively, you can see winning more of his duels, good ball recoveries, and all of that. Not a progressive passer. The dribbling was pretty decent today. Yeah. But I thought Kobe had a much better day today. Ahmad, kind of, again, everything until the shot was there. Yeah, I think for Kobe, probably the time off, the extra gap between the games probably helped. He looked a bit quicker today. I don't know with Ahmad what to say. Bruno was just very good in general. I mean, look at his pass map. He's all over the place. He's dribbling, he's passing, he's carrying, he's doing some defensive work. Not the best. His shooting has dipped a little bit, but yeah. Mbumo, I thought had a tough day, but not really his fault. I just think it wasn't a game for him in the positions that he was getting into. But I do think he worked hard, and I think he did kind of his best. I think he did kind of his best overall. But look, we very much deserved the win today. We very much deserved the win today. And I think that clearly this is for what we're trying to accomplish this season. This is good. What we saw today is fine in that respect. I thought what we saw today is totally fine. I mean, there's improvements that could be made. There's changes that could be made, but what we saw today was fine. From the standpoint of what we're trying to accomplish this season, it was good. It's a win against a team we're fighting with drastically for that top 5 position. So what else can you ask for but to get a result? Let me just put this game on really quick because I want to watch. But yeah, I'm happy with the game on the shorthand of things. So, on the micro view of, we're trying to get Champions League this season. These are the options that you've got. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. These are the games we need to get the 3 points in. On that basis, very, very happy. On the basis of performances, it was definitely shaky. It was definitely shaky for 60 minutes, 65 minutes, really. It was very, very shaky. Definitely when Aston Villa score and we concede, I think almost everybody's sitting there going, this is crap right now. We turned that around. We end the game well. That's important. That matters. That often matters more than starting the game well, is finishing the game well. And that's a good sign that we're finishing the game well today. I'm not 100% confident when we go to a team like Bournemouth on Friday with these performances, the level of, they're not going to be tired from a Thursday game. They're more intense. They're more energetic. They're more pressing. They're more doing all of that. I think that it's going to be tough. I think the Bournemouth game is going to be tough. I don't feel like we're going to blow them away or anything, but at all. I think it's going to be another very, very close, tough game, but we have the goal scorers and the players that can kind of carry us through that, certainly. The question is, the second half of the discussion, or the second part of the discussion, is, of course, in the long term when it comes to Michael Carrick. Is he doing enough as manager where you feel more or less confident, in his abilities? And that's what I want to ask you guys, because I don't know. I go back and forth like every single minute on this, on Carrick, because you can't argue with the points. 22 out of 27. What's it been? 10 games now. It's just over 2 points per game. You can't argue with the results. The results are much better. The results are great. He's doing things that are getting results. But I think that the confirmation bias of Šeško coming on and winning is strong, because I think we would have done a lot better with him. I'm looking at the decisions, not so much are we expected to perform really well every game. We're not. I don't think we're going to perform well every game. I don't think we're going to perform well all the time. No team. And I agree with this totally. I'm not saying I'm judging him on the basis of, are we going to perform amazing all the time? Because we're not. There's too many holes in this team. I'm consistently, that's been my view for the entirety of the season. I don't care who the coach is. We do not have a team in place, a squad in place that can control games regularly. Whenever we're pressing, we look like shit. The second goal we concede, it pretty much all comes because we press. We press so high when we don't have the midfield to back it up. They run right through us all the way into our box, get in there, then a mistake gets made and we concede, right? We don't have a team that can perform that well consistently over the course of games. We don't have a team that could do that. We started the game dropping off the press a little, which I actually thought was a good decision. I thought that was the right thing to do. The more we press, the worse we look. You know what I mean? The more we press, the worse we look. That's for sure. So it's sort of like I'm more looking at what are the decisions, like for what he's asked to do this season. He's doing a great job. When I look at the decisions about the long term, what can be done, whether he's making the decisions of a coach that should be the guy to go win us a title, right? Different ask, different questions to compete in Champions League, to do all of that. Is he the guy? I don't know. I think that, again, it doesn't work not playing Šeško. I get that I don't think that's the answer. I think that Šeško probably would have scored earlier if he was on the pitch, but it's hard to say that, obviously we didn't beat Newcastle with Šeško on the pitch, but we started against Palace with Šeško on the pitch and he scored and we won. So it's not like you have a definitive thing there. I think there seems to be a bit of confirmation bias in that sense on him. There's that. That's one decision. I'm just like, please play your striker. Just play your striker. That's all I'm asking. I think that's like the one decision that I look at and go, just play Šeško, man. Like, he's the most informed player in the world. Let him go through a game like Newcastle without scoring, without being benched. He should be able to play through those games and go to the next one without being benched, in my opinion. Because it was really, really tight this game up until late on, and maybe it could have been better. So Šeško's one thing. The second thing is that pressing. With all these games we've been playing, what I still don't understand is, why are we pressing the way that we're pressing? Most of our goals we're conceding, most of the territory we're coming from that we're conceding are coming from pressing, that we press and then they pass through us. I don't know why we haven't dropped the press off. It's been obvious since the first couple of games that we can't press as high as we're pressing at times, yet we keep doing it. When we're up 1-0 against Villa, we start engaging in our press really high and let them run right through us. And we're getting a little bit lucky in that sense that most teams are failing. Those are the two biggest decisions for me. I think that, again, Šeško coming off the bench and winning is a bit of confirmation bias. That doesn't mean he shouldn't be starting. We've won when he started. We've won when he's come off the bench. Because we have a good batch of teams in general. You know what I mean? We have a good batch of players. There's so many variables, but agreed, Tony. That's what I'm looking at. The mid block, for me would just be better. The insistence on pressing that's the one part that just doesn't make sense to me. Just stop doing that. Just stop pressing. Just stop pressing. Not in that way. Set up in the mid block. Don't let them pass through us. Don't let them run through us. But it's been that way all season. When we press from the front, we open ourselves up and teams can run at us. And that's where the things get chaotic. Now, again, that's why I'm giving big credit to Lenny and Maguire, because they're shutting it down when that does happen and stopping it from getting out of hand, and that's huge. The next decision that I think will have to be made, where I will have questions, is when Lissandro comes back, be it against Bournemouth, does he go straight into the team and drop Lenny? Because I have a feeling that would be a big mistake, personally. But we'll see. That's an unknown, but I think it would be a big mistake. I think that, again, if we're going to press, if we're going to try to attack, if we're going to put players forward, then I think Lenny makes a huge difference in there. And I think dropping him would be a big, big error. I think him and Maguire have been really, really, really good so far. I think they've been good in most of these games right now. And that's pretty much that. But that's a different question in the long term. It's a different question in the long term of those decisions. And either way, coach has to be with hands behind her back. But let me ask you a question, just to chat then. For you guys, do you think with regards to Carrick from this game, are you more convinced that he should get the job? Not really, hasn't changed anything, or less convinced? For you, did it influence the way you feel about Carrick for the long term? For me, I don't think it changed anything either way, to be honest. I'm still I've got my doubts, but I'm also not convinced that there's anything better out there. Not convinced, a bit less. No, nothing changed. Definitely not. Hasn't changed anything. Needs more experience. No, hasn't changed at all. Oh my gosh, Spurs almost scored. You'll pack his bags. Good. That's very negative. My goodness. Ugarte's been looking better each appearance. I thought he was good when he came on as well. Hasn't influenced. Needs to finish the job first. King Carrick, patience, not yet. Moves neither direction. The goal of the season is different than if he was the permanent. Right. That is part of the challenge. It's two different conversations. Totally. That's what I struggle with. It's two different conversations. I'm not sure what we're doing now is good enough for a permanent manager, but then I also go, but we don't have the squad to do it, man. So, do you think that if he gets Champions League, that's enough? Or do you think that we need to see certain other improvements too, or certain other things, or all that? You know what I mean? It's hard, man. It's so hard. It's so hard to tell. It's really, really hard to tell what the answer is. And we're just going to have to let them make the call and hope they get it right. I'm okay either way. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I've got concerns, but we're winning games. Questions you're asking are, is he getting the most out of the squad? And what is the trend with the performances? Are we getting better? I don't think we're getting better than at the start of his tenure. Is he getting the most out of the squad though? Probably. But yeah, it's hard. It's such a hard decision. I really, really don't envy them in this decision, because again, what you're asking, we can just be fans. And I think that what I would hope with this, what I would hope is just that, I just don't want to have these crazy camps on coaches and things. It's so silly to me. It's so silly. There's already people who are utterly convinced that Carrick should not get the job and he's crap and it's not good enough and he's making tons of mistakes. And every time we lose, they're practically celebrating about it. And it was the same for Amorim. And it doesn't matter if people are right or not. It's it's irritating. I have my concerns, but I'm certainly not convinced he shouldn't get the job. I have concerns with almost anybody. If you were to hire Nagelsmann, I've got concerns because he's a weirdo. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I don't want Nagelsmann. You know what I mean? But he's a strange guy. You know, I have concerns with any coach we could hire, I would have concerns with. So I'm not convinced he shouldn't get the job, even though I raise concerns, because I have concerns with every possible coach that's out there. And that doesn't mean like, you know, that it's bad. What do we need to see in order for Carrick to get the job? Here's what I would say, right? God, it's so hard. It's so hard. If we can grind out and keep this pace up, you know what I mean? If we can grind out wins and keep this pace up, and let's say we win 5 out of the last, well, how many? We have 8 games. If we win 6 out of our, how about this, right? There's some big ones in here. If we go and win 6 of our last 8, not the big ones, the Bournemouths, the Brentfords, you know, guys like that. If we win 6 out of our last 8, you'd have a hard argument to say Carrick shouldn't get the job at that point in time, because it's a huge, that's enough sample size in there. You know what I mean? But again, you don't want to grind out results next year. You need to play different. But I think this is kind of the point to me, Tony. This is what would convince me, right? This is what would convince me. Because we've seen against Palace, against Everton, against Newcastle, against West Ham, very mediocre performances, right? It's not just points. And that doesn't mean he shouldn't get the job. But what would convince me is if when we're playing some of the crappier teams, that we see some adjustments that help us play a bit better in those games. It's things like this. Make some adjustments. Stop us pressing when the pressing is just killing us. You know, stop doing that type of stuff. I just want to see, to be utterly convinced, I want to see the coach do something that change. Like, it's just strange. It's really hard to say because we're winning games, you know? So again, I think you can consider him the maybe that he should be the favorite regardless, but you feel like you still want to see something that tells you it's the coach that's making a difference. Because right now, and this is not to take away from Carrick. Right now, what are we actually doing tactically? We're setting up in a 4-4-2. We're letting Bruno play free. And beyond that, we're not really doing anything tactically that would speak to elite coaching. It's mid-season. That's the job. He's doing the job he's been hired for. So it's not you're not really complaining about it, but at the same time, that's not the job next season. The job next season is to do a bit more than that. The job next season is to solve some problems tactically, solve problems system-wise. Not just set up in a basic, easy to understand formation and let the team go and win games for you, which is a fine decision. Another free kick goal from Liverpool, man. What the hell? God damn it. Szoboszlai and free kicks, man. This guy's unbeatable on them. Unreal. Man, Tottenham are going down. 29. Tottenham level with West Ham and Forest for relegation on 29 points. They are level for relegation on 29 points. That is insanity. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Um, absolutely crazy. But anyway, yeah, absolutely crazy. Anyways, whatever. But yeah, look, that's all I'm saying. But at this point, I'm not saying Carrick shouldn't get the job either, because I would definitely think he's maybe not done enough to deserve it, but you have to factor in the alternatives, right? And if you factor in the alternatives, are there better options than Michael Carrick at this point in time? Don't know. Can't believe they looked at their situation and brought in Tudor. It's crazy. It is crazy. He's gone too, right? Like, he's gone after this game. He's already gone. It's done. I the more I look at it, I wouldn't take anyone from the Spurs side, because you know how we've talked about this team being like mentally damaged sometime. That Spurs team, I think you have to think about this for a minute. And there's a difference, right? You've got, when it's a small team who are doing poorly, you're not looking at that and going, well, those players are mentally damaged. Because when you play for Wolves and you're trying to keep your team up, that's a job. It's a different job. Like, I wouldn't think a player from Wolves right now is mentally damaged. They're playing for a small side, trying to survive. A Spurs team that is a big team that's finished 17th and now is in danger of relegation, that are giving up, they're mentally ruined. Those players, I can't trust them. I can't think about them. I can't sit there and go, oh, they're going to be great. Well, they'll be fine. I think they are damaged goods, and I'd be really wary of taking anyone from that team. But I hear you on some of the younger guys like Bergvall or Archie Gray. But beyond that, I wouldn't take Udogie because of injuries. I really don't like Van de Ven. I really, really, really don't like Van de Ven. But yeah, I would think Archie Gray and Bergvall may be the only ones I would take at this point. The rest, to me, tainted meat, man. Tainted meat. Damaged goods. It's, imagine if, all right, think about it this way. Flip it around. Imagine if this season we finished 17th again. What would you think of our players? What would you think of our squad? Would you think any of them are players that should be here for the long term? I don't think so, right? I don't think any of them. I don't think any of them you would think that if we finish 17th again. I think you look at the entire team and you go, they're fucked. They're screwed. Stay away. We need to clean out the entire squad. Can you imagine this season if we were in 17th again? That's how we would all be feeling. Clear out the entire squad. Let's poll this question here. Here, let's poll this here, and please do drop a like on the video as well. Please do drop a like on the video as well. But I just wanted to poll this kind of question. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling personally. You think Kulusevski has potential? He's a good player, but he's been injured so much, has he not? I'm just eating some food. I've been up since early and my stomach is very, very empty. I don't think Van de Ven is very good. I'll be honest. Like, I don't see it, man. I don't see it at all. Let me ask you guys another question. Yeah, we'll do callers in like 1 minute. Let me ask you another question beyond this Carrick one. Would you change the team for Bournemouth? Would you put Šeško in? If you would you change the team for Bournemouth, and what change would you make? Would you get Šeško in? What would you do? in that instance. For the game on Friday, I wanted to ask this question now, right after the game. Would you run the same 11 or would you make changes? And if so, what would you change? For me, I would probably change Šeško and maybe nothing else. Šeško for Mbumo, or Šeško for Ahmad and move Mbumo out wide and nothing else. I like I say, I have my concerns with the midfield and all of that, but I don't know. I don't really care at this point. But I would make that change. I wouldn't drop Kabi because I think Kabi had a very good game today. I'm serious about that. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm judging based on what I'm seeing. Kabi had a much better game today. So I wouldn't drop Kabi off of one of his better performances. I still think it was I think that Kabi's partner was a lot worse today than he was. So for me, I would just get Šeško on the pitch. It's tough with Carrick. Is he reluctant to make changes because of personnel, or is it because that's who he is as a coach? Well, if you ask people at Middlesbrough, they would tell you that he doesn't make changes in general, that he's very stubborn. So I don't know what the answer is. But no, I wouldn't drop Kabi in this game. I wouldn't drop Kabi for Bournemouth. I thought he had a very good performance today. The defensive work looked better. The energy looked better. The intensity looked better. So from that, I have no complaints today on that front. I think that, again, it's unpopular because everybody's serenading. But for me, Casemiro, it's 1-1. Scores the goal on the set piece, but he was pretty bad otherwise. Letting the game go by him, some really bad fouls and bad positions. Again, the goal that they end up scoring is mostly because of, in large part, comes because of his play there. But would I change him? I don't know, because right now the set pieces are winning us games. Are getting us goals, are breaking the deadlocks and opening the game up. I mean, to a degree, we could think about it and say, when we scored that set piece, it opened the game up. And yes, we conceded, but then the game was open and that allowed us to score 2 more. So it's hard to say, but on that front, I don't know. I'll just leave it. And get Šeško on. That's pretty much it. But then I would keep Šeško for the rest of the season as our striker and not change it. I really would. All right. Here's the callers. I know a few people want to call in because it's been a while since we've done them. There's the link to call in. We'll do a few, not too many today. Don't want it to go too long, but we can hang out and have a few call-ins while we have the Liverpool Tottenham game ongoing. We've got right, Liam. So this is my point on Lissandra as well, that I think goes under the radar and why I give such praise to Lenny Yoro. We have so much, and it's the same thing for Kobbie Mainoo, where when he does have a bad game, nobody mentions it. And it's not just them. It's all around. Got to go. Good result. Cheers. See you, Cliff. Have a good one, buddy. It's the off ball that worries me with a lot of the players that we have. And I think we don't credit off ball enough when we see it. I don't think Lenny got, whenever I see criticism of Lenny, well, the passing wasn't snappy. I don't give a shit, man. He's a center back. And he gave us very good, very aggressive, very solid defending at the back that helped us shut down Villa's attacks. That's what I care about more than anything else right now. And that's what I give a lot of credit to as the off ball. And I think you lose something in different ways with different players. And with some of them, I think we need to get that balance right. If you're going to play Casemiro and Mainoo in the midfield, you get a lot from them on the ball in the set pieces. You need a ton of off-ball work behind them. You need pace. You need all of that. I think you have to continue with the Lenny and Maguire center-back partnership. But same reasons, I see kind of the same thing. All right, Parth, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you, James?
Good. Give me your thoughts on the game. I'm gonna
Game okay. Second half much better. hugely important 3 points. Especially, I thought after we went 1-1, I thought this was done. They were all over us. That second goal was very crucial. That is when the signings like Konya, you know, I mean, Mbumo didn't score today, but I don't think he was bad. I have a slightly different opinion on Shesko. I mean, he's been exceptional, but I think why he's been so good, had he started every single game like Rasmus Højlund, the pressure on the kid to score is crazy. I don't want to see him coming off the bench every game, but once in a while, it is good for him. It takes the pressure off him, and that is something which is a good thing done by Michael Carrick right now. It's very important that he keeps his confidence up there, and he is hungry to score every time he comes on. So, which is
Yeah.
extremely so yeah, and I think Lenny Yoro was absolutely phenomenal today. Those last ditch tackles, very good, very impressed. I still wouldn't want Casemiro extending. Done well, no complaints. I mean, he had a good game, no complaints today. But yeah, we need that 350K to be spent somewhere else. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
but yeah,
No, I look,
overall,
I agree with you with the management of Sheshko. Like in general,
you
taking the
want
pressure
this.
off of him has been good. I think he could start a bit more than he's starting
No,
right
I
now.
completely agree with
But
that.
it's you're right. The management on this, I think, frankly, the management of the season overall has actually been fine. It's just right now, I think he's ready to start more, and we have to be able to
100%.
let him get through one game without
Yeah. A
scoring
couple
before
of
staying
starts
back on
on
the
the
bench.
trot.
Let him
Yeah.
have a few to get going.
Agreed.
He needs
Agreed.
to
Couple of
start now.
starts. Yeah. I think this is first time we've been in. This is a good position to be in, wherein you're debating whom to drop to the
Yeah.
bench, and you can have an argument for all of those front three: Ahmad, Mbumo, Seshko, Kunya, all of them. Yeah. And this is what we want. This is what we want moving forward, so that you can
Yeah.
chip and chop those players and still have like good elite players playing for us up there. And that is what
Yeah.
is missing in that midfield. So that is what we are trying to do next season, which is great.
Agreed. Totally.
I thought.
Yeah, you're right. And having the options to say, like, that's the point with Sheshko and these guys, like,
No,
and the same in
and
the
I agree.
midfield.
He
And that's the
would.
point with Kobe too. It's like you can have faults. You just want to be able to have good enough
Yeah,
players to rotate through these
exactly.
things and have good options to
You
work
need
with.
competition. You
Yeah.
definitely do need competition in these spots. This is huge 3 points, to be honest with you. Bournemouth are not a bad team. They do grind out results. It's not like walk in the park. And the games coming up are, I know every game is winnable, or you can drop points. It's important that you keep on going, and that is when the squad management like this helps. People coming off the bench want to prove a point, and it's
Yep.
extremely useful for that. So overall, I think, yeah, very happy with the 3 points. Hope these bastards lose right now to the corner, but yeah, I mean, yeah, good day.
Good
But
day, good
let's see.
points. Exactly. The other discussion is separate, but we all know it. We got to solve the problems in summer. What do you think? In just as a quick answer, not you don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
give like your full idea here on this, but in terms of Carrick and the permanent job, or you think let him make a decision and we'll just have to trust
Honestly,
him on it,
yes, we
you
would.
know?
Honestly, if it was Enrique, I would still. I'm not sure if these people can transform, and it's not even practical to transform the entire team when we are in the middle of
Yeah.
a good rebuild for an Enrique team. I'm being very practical right now.
Sure.
Nagelsmann, he's been smashed by fucking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That scares me, and that wasn't a one-off. He's been smashed a few times by Premier League sides.
Yes, he has.
Not to say I wouldn't be happy with him, neither am I too eager on Michael Carrick. Like, I don't know. I'll just leave them on it. Like, Carrick, for the job he's come in to do right now, he's doing very good. But this is not the same thing we want next season. Next season, we want to see this to another, gear here. And we're not going to play 40 games next season. So that's one thing.
A lot more games, yeah.
Yeah, if
Do you
you,
think
if
we've become a club, which was kind of the plan, where
yeah,
the most important person is the sporting director?
100% it is. 100%. And that is why since the start of the season, when we spoke on a few of
Yep.
initial games, it's important to have a top 15, not top 11. I'm insisting on that. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can chip and chop. You need to be able
Yep.
to do that. That is why we miss someone like Dorgo. First time, I think, in like
Yep.
ages, we've had people scoring off the bench. Like, It's been a while.
Yeah.
We need to keep that going. But yeah, it's important to keep the head down, get into top 4 or top 5, whatever it is. I don't know if the 5th spot is coming
It's still
this
fine.
day.
It's still fine.
You
Yeah,
think
it's
we'll
still
get
okay. Yeah.
Premier
We
League?
have such a big gap.
No. I'm saying about the 5th spot.
Yeah.
That
We
is
have
still
such a big
competitive.
gap. The Prem has such a big gap
Oh, okay.
on the point on this like
Okay.
measure that even a couple results like
City
elsewhere
going
have
out,
helped,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like we need like 1 or 2 teams to progress, and we'll be
Oh,
okay.
okay.
And it's not just Champions
Fingers
League.
crossed,
Like
Villa now.
Villa win. That was a good, Villa go through in their
Yeah.
Europa. That's a boost. So there's a
Yeah.
lot. I think it'll in the end it looks
Okay.
still looks
Fair
like
enough.
90% that
Okay.
England
So
will
then
get the
that's
5th
okay.
spot.
Then this is massively important.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, Michael Carrick, let's see, man. I am still
Yeah.
like, if he is that thing, sorry, not to hog on to a lot of time
No,
here,
it's
but
good. It's good.
Middlesbrough, what you keep speaking about, that if he's the manager who is sticking to it, he needs to evolve as well. We cannot have a
Sure.
club like Man United do that. The best period under Pep Guardiola, because okay, they had like a blank check, okay,
Mhm.
but he was able to sub out Kevin De Bruyne. They were able
Yeah.
to sell Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Today, I don't think we can do that with Bruno Fernandes.
No,
Practically,
not
You-
yet right now.
it's not a like to like replacement. That's all
Yeah.
fine, but it's still, and your manager needs to be on the same page.
Yep.
You can't say that he did the same. Okay, then he needs to evolve too. He needs to
Yep.
go up a level too. So let's see, man. That's why I'm not like 100% like fucking like Rio Ferdinand,
Yeah.
thinking out and
Exactly.
stuff. But
Exactly.
very happy with the 3 points. Was extremely disappointed after Newcastle.
Yeah.
And that is why even I did not bother coming in live, because that video would have been flagged out the way I was
Yeah,
going
it's all
around,
good.
so.
I hear you.
So yeah.
All right, thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
Appreciate
James.
it. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right, see you, bud. Bye. All right, Ethan, how you doing, my friend?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Thoughts? Where are you at?
That was fun to watch. That was a good home game where you win by a 2-goal margin by 80 minutes. The game's done. That's been pretty rare this season. Even the wins we've had recently have all been 1-goal margin late on. So up until stoppage time, you're still not entirely sure.
Yes.
And back in the day, home games, especially against either mid-table or just anyone other than the big teams, 2-goal margin with 80 minutes left was pretty much standard every week.
Yeah.
So it's become more rare, but that was kind of nice. It was entertaining.
Yep.
I watched Arsenal Everton yesterday, and Everton were the ones entertaining. And
yeah, I know.
At least you can still score from a corner, but at least if you have ambition to do other things, it's a lot more fun to watch, even as a neutral, if I wasn't cheering for one side. So
yep.
Yeah, it was good. No complaints. I think the points you have now are probably going to be enough, as long as you don't drop. We have Brentford, Chelsea, Liverpool in a row. As long as you don't
That's a tough
lose
run
or draw
yeah.
all 3, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the game against Chelsea away is a big one.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough place to play for us. Always has been at Stamford Bridge, and we have a 6-point gap on them now. As long as we don't lose to them, right. I think we'll make enough points to stay above Chelsea.
I think 70 points
Whatever
will get
else happens
higher guaranteed, and that's 5 wins and a draw out of 8 games. So I think that last-minute winner at Newcastle doesn't really matter that much to me anymore. It's a point now that's going to be the difference. Hopefully that doesn't end up being a difference between 5th and 6th, but 4th or 5th at that point doesn't matter. And I think we're in really good shape. So yeah, it's now, I think there's one more game next week before the big
giant break. Yeah,
you don't lose that, or even a draw wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. If you win that too, then you're in really good shape. So that's quite a relief, because after last week, when everything bunched up a bit, it was that's all it takes.
Looking a little scary. Yeah. We don't want to go into the next one and say lose to Bournemouth, Chelsea win, Liverpool win, Villa win, and we're sitting there level on points with 3 teams and only 3 ahead of someone else. That'll
3
be
points plus a goal difference gap is enough. As long as you maintain it, you're fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right, my friend.
As far as the coaching goes,
go ahead.
I was going to say, as far as the coaching goes, kind of like what Parth was saying, I mean, it's too soon to make a decision, but as long as the team gets better, I really don't think it matters a whole lot based on the options out there. As long as you recruit properly, let's say it doesn't go as well as you want to, and your team's better and you make a change if you have to next year. I don't think it's like the ways of the past where you're having to start from scratch. So give it to, see what it's like at the end of the season. I think, like you said, I think you've said it before, character for coaches matters to me more than character for players in a lot of ways, as long as there aren't any crazy red flags. So a guy like Nagelsmann, I don't know. I'm not,
I like his football, but I get very concerned
not
about
just
how
about that. It's got to be more than that when you're at that position.
Yeah,
even if you're just a head coach, there's still more character sort of that has to go into it. So he's, just because of that, it doesn't matter how flashy the football is, he's off the table. And I don't know if Poch is too far removed from being in England now. It's been a while, so he would be the only one I'm sort of even mildly interested in. So just let it ride.
To a degree, I kind of agree with you on that sense. Like, if you're eliminating, I will say, I'll say again, the only other coach that I still think should be given consideration is Xabi Alonso, because he does have the character, he does have the experience, and he is a really good coach. And I could not care less about the Liverpool connection. I mean,
he's the one I'd swap Carrick out for regardless. If he says, "Yeah, I'm good," then everyone else I don't care about. But I don't know if that's as realistic as it might feel. So I would just
he could be replacing Slot. I mean, he could be replacing Pep. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. So I would just
there's a lot of jobs that'll be there for him.
And like you said, right back, center back, 2 midfielders, backup striker, I think we'll be fine.
Agreed. All right. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. All right, Maddie, what's going on?
Not bad. First game watched in ages live. It's been work getting in the way. So
yes, I understand.
But, have you noticed United do this a lot where they start a big tall guy up front, never cross the ball. Take him off, they're lumping it in. Or today was a bit. Today happened again today, didn't it? Really, it's essentially
every time
changed a bit, didn't it? Because we got the goal and then we'll counter them. But yeah, it was nice. It big win. That obviously Villa needed to be battling for the top 5 of us. But what one point was, it was a bad result against Newcastle, a bad performance, and the bounce back, and they got a blow in this game, and they managed to come back in it as well.
That was the most important thing, right? Was the second goal, because up to that point, it's shaky. You get the break, but then you go and concede really quickly, and then you go, it's just the same old shit. But they turn around and get the second goal. The finishing game strong. Besides the Newcastle game, we finished almost every single game strong. That is important, and it's hard because you look at it and you go, but I kind of want to see us play well through the games. But I'd rather start, like, if you had to pick one, it does work better finishing strong, getting those winners late. Look, I mean, Arsenal are going to win the league by squeezing through games and, winning at the end and being the worst side in a lot of those games. And so it's like, it does work, and you'd rather be this than that. And you'd rather win a lot more games than lose.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the wins. Very happy.
I think that's what I was not doing again. You mentioned about, it seems like there's definitely something psychological with this team when they score a goal. Something flips, and it's like for 5 or 10 minutes they just go with this back a bit. I don't know where that's come from. Maybe I don't know, but but then there's also the flip side that since Carrick's coming, it's like later on we'll get another one. We'll get a goal later on. We'll create a chance later on. But Bruno today, second half, Bruno, that ball for
Bruno was
Cunha,
great today.
If you watch the replay, his celebration's he's like he didn't even celebrate much. He's like going, yeah. I thought people were saying on Twitter, Cunha had a poor game. He had a quiet game, I'd say.
I think that's Cunha a lot, right? I think he does a lot of stuff that that people don't notice, but I think he's one of our most important players in the intensity, in the way he organizes, in the way he assists defending, in the way he helps us bring the ball forward. I think he does so much in that respect that goes under the radar.
There was a moment in the second half where he was in the corner and he somehow gets past 3 Aston Villa players, and it's like, how has he got out of that? But then obviously the goal, really, really good finish. But one to watch Šeško, not so much the goal. What do you think he was doing for that one when he's completely hit it out?
I think he was trying to pass to Ahmad and he hit it with the wrong foot.
I think he's caught between the two.
Yeah. Well, because I think that he's thinking about finishing in the corner, sees Ahmad, so he doesn't switch feet. Instead of switching to his left to make the pass, he's sort of motion to try to hit it in the corner. So he tries to angle it a little bit more for the pass because he's looking at Ahmad when he hits that in the end. So I think he's looking for the shot, but sees Ahmad kind of mid motion and just.
I think his head is saying pass to Ahmad, but his foot saying no, I'm shooting.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a pass. I'll give him credit and say I think it was a pass because his shooting's been better than that. So I think it was. I think it was in the end. It's just a bad pass.
Yeah. Someone did it once famously for United a few years ago, where they put a bit. They had this shot. And they were banning. Went, "That were a pass." They wanted it with a shot. But I think look at the fixtures we've got coming up. We've got Bournemouth away, tricky game, always tricky down there.
That's a tough
then we've got
one,
Leeds and Chelsea. If we can win 2 out of those 3 and get a draw somewhere,
I'd take the draw in Chelsea. I'd take the draw at Chelsea.
Keep me there because I'm looking at Liverpool. All right, Liverpool. I think they're the most likely to maybe get the 4th with us. I think Villa.
Yeah, I think so.
I look at Chelsea and I'm like, nah.
Chelsea and Villa both could easily drop out. Either one, and as long as we don't give Chelsea 3. Like that not losing that game is almost the most important result in the run-in for me. Not even winning it, just not losing it. Don't let Chelsea make up the points on us in that game, and I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be ahead.
If you get 2 wins against Bournemouth and Leeds before that, that'd be even better because then that game's okay. And if the worst does happen in that one and Chelsea's win, we've got the 6 points. Also, can we tell Casemiro, love the goals, mate, brilliant. But if you're playing against Chelsea, put you know who in the stand, please.
It's so hard to have this discussion, man. Like it's so funny. I don't totally get it, but it's so hard to have this discussion. But I agree. I mean, the out of possession stuff to me is still like shockingly bad.
I feel like it's even worse than it was when we do. I remember because you see really good moments, and then you see like what happened after the goal today. And like if we can just get that midfield fix and control, not even attacking score again. 10 minutes, get the ball and keep it for a bit, keep control again. It flips every single time. But I think Carrick, every game he's playing, everyone on the odd game, it's getting more and more like, well, maybe they've fallen into one again. But I have doubts. I said to me, friends, that the only way I think he gets it early is if he goes on an insane run and gets so well clear of 5th that he's nailed. That it's done.
Yeah, like the next 3-4 games.
But I think it'll go a bit longer than that. But I think 2 more wins and then a draw against Chelsea, that should.
Because if we don't win against Bournemouth, the discussion is just going to be wide open again.
Yeah.
This week during this long break.
Yeah, there's going to be no middle ground. If he loses the game, he shouldn't get it. Wins the next match, he should get it. There's never any middle ground with United.
That's how it is, isn't it?
Want to do over, but really good win. Villa were really poor, but United, I think, were deservedly better. They were miles better.
We were definitely the better side, no doubt about it. Concerns aside, United deserved to win. Yes.
Last year, we beat last year. Because last year, that game, we don't win that game. I thought we scored.
Correct. I agree.
And that's why I said, you say it yourself. And I agree. We're going to be better this year because the forwards are better. They'll just get moments of quality and find, scored. So, yeah. But hopefully 2 more wins. One more win before the big break. And we can enjoy
how many times do we see Garnacho making that run, receiving that pass that Cunha does? And where's the ball end up?
Well, first of all, he's got to run first, for starters. He probably gets the ball, skies it, and then blames the guy on the bench for not scoring it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But,
good forwards help you a lot. Well. All right. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you later. Enjoy. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me today. A great win. Good in the end. This is what we need. Champions League on track. We all need Champions League next season. So much of our doubts, fears, debates, struggles, and everything will hopefully be minimized if we just have more games to watch football. I think that's one of the hardest parts of all of this, where you have a bad game against Newcastle and the doubts, they've crept in so much over the last 10 days that I just feel a win is great. We go into the next one. I hope we get a win before this long break, because otherwise it's going to be the same thing. The fears, the doubts, the worries. We're 23 days, but it's really good to see a good win. Really, really good. And we needed that. And we needed this. And we need Champions League to build the squad, to fix things, and for all of our sakes next season. Whoever's coach I honestly couldn't care less at this point. I just want to see us back in Champions League with a better squad. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you all very much. Smash a like on the video on the way out, and I will catch you maybe later today or tomorrow. Okay. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.